Hello guys and welcome back to another video with your boy tomjsherlock. We have the most scuffed setup in the world today. We're out in a hotel in Sao Paulo. It's currently the 20th of February. I've got my Rode NT USB which I'm holding with my hand and a Razer Kygo that's wedged on top of a bin. And then we got our wonderful laptop supplied to us by the wonderful people at Intel. But wow, yesterday was a hell of a day of Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, upsets galore in my opinion. I had the privilege and the pleasure of being involved in the halftime show yesterday. If you watched the broadcast, that was pretty fucking awesome, I'm going to be honest. Getting to see everything backstage, getting to meet the players, see the players, all the staff, everyone that makes this fantastic show happen as well. It was bloody unreal, but we can see a couple of the results here today. I mean, Verax, feel a bit sorry for them, but W7M just way too strong. They showed a bit of signs in these games, a bit of signs over on Bank winning 3 attacks. You maybe had a little bit of a hope for them, but then they just sort of seemed to get blown away by W7M. And I think W7M, I don't think this is the strongest W7M we've seen. I don't think they're quite living up to the standards that they've shown us at Atlanta and Copenhagen. But they get the job done nonetheless. Loss, if you watched the last video, I touched on it massively in the last video, which we did about looking at SI and how Loss made that miracle Cinderella story run in Atlanta. They didn't come through the LCQs, they came through the open qualifiers and then managed to get all the way to the grand final, which I think a lot of people didn't realise how much of a performance that was from Loss. And I think that's sort of shown it with their result against Bleed here. 7-3, 7-2 is so far off the pace from Loss. I don't know if they've maybe changed it up a little bit. It seems to be Myers playing maybe more of a passive role. And in my opinion, if it ain't broke, why fix it? So I don't know if a little bit of changes have come in there, or maybe we've just seen them playing at the standard that they should be playing at, and they're not one of these top tier world beater teams that we all maybe think Loss were after their performance in Atlanta. Falcons just looked overwhelmed, quite frankly, by Liquid. It's taken a bit of time for Liquid to come good, and they came good up against Falcons in that best of 3. And my favourite team currently, Team Bliss, fucking sick cunts. Met them yesterday as well after I did the halftime show. And because I did that halftime show, I missed their game and saw them all coming out. And I went up to Wetables and I was like, oh mate, how'd you fucking get on in map 2? And he's like, oh, we lost in overtime. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, shit. But then they went on to win the second map quite convincingly, 7-4. Third map, against Fury. And then that brings me on to maybe one of my favourite results I think I've ever seen in Rainbow Six Siege, which was Wolves versus Bliss. We had the pleasure of watching it up in the green room and with all the other talent as well. I'm not classing myself as talent, by the way. I'm just a bloke who had no sleep and went on the halftime show. But Bliss, they looked fantastic, and I'm so glad that they got that result, because I think a lot of people were like, oh yeah, Bliss, they're bottle jobs, they can't get a win over the line when they need it. And I think yesterday we've seen them answer those haters, answer those doubters with a 2-1 win over Fury, a 2-1 win over Wolves as well. And I mean, if there's one team you want to prove your doubters against by beating them, there's no bigger team than the defending champions of SI, G2 Esports, which will be the game taking place today, which I think is going to be an absolute slamming game. It's going to be unreal. I think this is probably... I think Wolves was a hell of a test. Obviously, they played SSG in FaZe, and Wolves in the group stage is unable to beat them. But it seems to be that Bliss have overcome that issue of not getting the games over the line. And they've answered that yesterday with 2 best-of-3 wins. And best-of-3 wins, which could have been even more impressive, in my opinion. They had a few 5 versus 3s, 4 versus 2s, which didn't go their way. So it could have been even bigger scoreline victories. So G2 Esports versus Bliss. My heart says Bliss, my head says G2. It's like picking between... I don't have any children, but I feel like it's picking between your children. And I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do it. But then we have Space Station, who looked really good against Bleed. Gutted to see Bleed go. I think they're fantastic for esports. The charisma and energy they bring is unreal. But Space Station just looked too strong. Once again, NIP, they haven't had the best of tournaments. In this knockout stage, they scraped past Fury with a 2-1. Oh, my battery's low, Jesus. And they got absolutely spankoed by Virtus.pro in that second map. Spankoed pretty much. I mean, I think the 8-7 flatters them a bit. I think Nips haven't looked quite at the pace of these other top competing teams at SI this year. I think there's work to be done there. But W7M versus Space Station is huge. Obviously, I'm going to be in the crowd for this SI. And I think, although having gone to Copenhagen where it was all Brazilian teams in the final, I kind of want to be cheering on an all EU or non-Brazil final just to see what it's like from the other perspective. And I think W7M, I think with the hype that Space Station, if they get on a roll, I think Space Station could take this 2-0. I think if W7M take first map, I think W7 go on to win this series, either 2-1 or 2-0. I think for Space Station to win this, I think they need to win 2-0. They're a team that thrive off momentum and getting that ball rolling. And I think if they get that ball rolling, they could overcome W7M. In regards to Sonics versus FaZe, those games aren't going to be taking place till tomorrow anyway. But I think Sonics will be too strong for FaZe. Yeah, I think they're going to be way too strong for FaZe. Actually, is that today? What's the day today? Oh my God, they're playing today. I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. They're playing today, boys. I think Sonics 2-0 FaZe. Dark Zero Virtus.pro, it's really hardcore. Virtus.pro, I think they've answered all the doubters. I think in the last video, I compared them to M80. And I think they've shown that they've made no changes, but they've worked massively on their game. And it looks really, really good. My heart once again says Dark Zero because of Nath and Bolo, and Troy's a legend, but my head says Virtus.pro. But either way, these teams will be making it to the main stage, so we're guaranteed one Brazilian team, and it could just only be that. If Space Station get on a roll, we might only see one Brazilian team on the stage at SI, which would be a real shame, but what goes around comes around, boys. I'm going to head off now to the pre-season teaser and stuff. Can't tell you anything about that, unfortunately, because there's an embargo. And just tell you that I'm looking at it. And then I'm going to cheer on the boys of Bliss, G2, Dark Zero and Sonics later today. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a lovely rest of your days. And enjoy the siege. I think this SI has been fantastic. It's got upsets galore, converging storylines, and yeah, I can't wait to see who wins today. And we'll see you in the next video, guys. I hope you don't mind the scuff setup as well. We'll give you a little spin before I go. Oh, my arm doesn't go 360. I'm an idiot. Wait, we'll spin and then we're out of here. Alright, bye guys. See you in the next video. Bye bye.